In this video, I'm going to give you one word on why you're not succeeding. And I'm going to give you one idea, one concept, one paradigm shift that you will be able to apply to your life. At the end of this video, you'll be able to turn the screen off or click on the next video with something inside your mind that's going to shift your mindset in your life for the rest of your life. You're going to grasp something that you've never grasped before. I'm going to give you something that no one has given you before. I'm going to give you the key to unlock success in your life. And by the end of this video, you will know how to succeed in life, but you may not want to succeed in life because this one word, this one idea, this one paradigm shift that you're going to receive today may be too difficult to comprehend and accept. And you may simply walk away and say, no, I won't do that. That's right. Or you'll say, I never thought about that. Wow, I've been missing it for this long, but I'm ready to embrace this word, suffering. That's right. You have not suffered enough to succeed. You have not went through enough suffering to where the suffering was so painful, so excruciating, so pitiful, so discouraging that it weighed you down like a million bricks in an ocean. You were looking up for air. You could not get to the air. And you said, free me. And instantly, an unseen hand snipped all the bricks from around your body, around your waist, around your neck, around your feet. And you went to the top and you screamed, help me, instantly. You did not suffocate long enough to know what it is to appreciate the air above you. That's right, suffering. You're not suffering enough. You're escaping your suffering. Your suffering isn't catapulting you to success. Your suffering isn't bringing you to a new mind shift. It was through the suffering that I became the man that I am today. I had to realize that nobody could help me. Nobody could help me escape the prison, the literal prison that I had put myself into. That's right. I spent about 10 years in prison in the state of Louisiana. And I went to prison at 19 years old, 19 into an adult prison. A little skinny, small, young white boy inside a Louisiana prison. I had to suffer. And let me tell you something. I did 2 years in that prison. But do you think that the suffering was enough to catapult me to success? No, it wasn't enough. It wasn't even close to enough because I came back home and within 10 months, I was back in prison doing 6 years this time and still had to come home after the 6 years on parole. I'm still dealing with the consequences of the actions I made when I was in my teens. But I had to suffer to get to the point to where I am today, and I'm still suffering. You're just not suffering enough. That's why you're struggling to make it, because you're crying and you're calling for help when you should not be, when you should be putting your own shoes on instead of asking someone to put them on for you. It may sound elementary, but that's how simple it has to start for you to begin to change your life and change your destiny. So if you can't suffer through the small sufferings, how in the world are you going to make it when you step into an enormous suffering? An enormous suffering. I will give you examples. When everybody in your family starts passing away and you're the only one left, that's an enormous suffering. When you wind up in prison, that's an enormous suffering. When you wind up homeless and under a bridge, that's an enormous suffering. You have to suffer in order to understand and appreciate the milestones in your life that you begin to travail. That's right. As you look up a mountain and you make it to different mile markers, as you climb that mountain, you'll be able to say, each step along the way on that mountain, when you accomplish a milestone, you're going to be able to look back and say, I went through something to get here. And I had to go through some pain to reach this point. And even if it's just 10 steps, those 10 steps that you take through your suffering is helping mold you into the person, the man or woman that you're supposed to be, that you're destined to be. But you spent your whole life complaining every step of the way, looking for a handout, looking for somebody to save you. It's okay to need help. I'm not talking about help. You know what I'm talking about. You wind up in the jail cell and you call your mama or your grandma or somebody that you know you can rely on to come bail you out every single time. You still haven't got to that point to where you look in the mirror and say, you know what, this is on me. Or maybe you've gotten to that point to where you don't have anyone to call and you looked in that mirror. But instead of saying this is on me, you blame everything in your external surroundings. You blame the system. You blame the man. You blame the government. You blame your family. You blame the man who lived down the street from you when you was a kid, who told you wasn't smart enough, you wasn't handsome enough, you wasn't pretty enough. You blame everybody but yourself. And you wonder why you never could get ahead, because all you do is complain. See, you don't take a moment to recognize the suffering. You have to recognize the suffering, man. You have to recognize the suffering to get to a point to where you're going to be successful. And you can't measure your success to everybody else around you, because some people suffered more than you may ever know. And they embraced their suffering, and their suffering brought them to new heights. And you know what? It was through that suffering that brought them to new heights that they're able to sustain the new heights of success that they've achieved. Then on the other hand, you're comparing yourself to some chump who cheated his way to the top, and you want to get to the top as quick as he did. You want to trend like he did. Let me tell you something about trends. Trends are some of the most useless things that I've ever seen in my life. Trends come and go constantly. This week you like this person. Next week you like this person. You back to this person. Now you hate this person. Now this person's popular. This song's awesome. You hate this song. You don't like what she said. You don't like what he said. It's ridiculous. This is the new cool color to paint my house. Man, on the Pen and The Shank, this is the most unusual and unique crime and prison channel experience on YouTube. And notice I use the words unusual and unique, because it's through being unusual and unique that you're going to find your true self, your true identity, and who you're supposed to be. You don't go through trends, and trends can be popular. It's trendy to do this. It's trendy to do that. I don't ride trends. I find out who I am deep inside. And when I was in that prison, I had to look in that mirror and say, this is on me. I'm not calling my mom and telling her to send me $20 every week, because that's ridiculous. The state feeds me 3 meals a day, and I'm going to eat this grueling, goopy junk that's on this tray. And instead of complaining about it, I'm going to shovel it spoonful after spoonful. I eat the crap. And I remember thinking to myself, this is on me. And there was a period of time where I shut my family off for about 3 years while I was in prison, and I had minimal contact. And my mother, I only called like every 6-7 months. I remember there was one point, it was almost a year where I called. She still wrote me letters. I still responded. And she would occasionally send me stuff, but I told her, I'm okay. I don't need you to send me anything. And I hustled it on my own. And I ate the food that was provided. And I realized that I had to suffer through this on my own. This wasn't the time for someone to help me. I had to help myself. You have to help yourself. Every day I make a conscious effort. For the last 21 years going on, I've been free. Every day I make a conscious effort to say, I'm not going to be a criminal. I'm not going to steal. I'm not going to kill. I'm not going to sell narcotics. I'm not going to rob people. I'm not going to hang out at the club. I'm not going to hang out at the bar room. I'm not going to get inebriated. I'm not going to get loaded. I'm going to stay in my right mind, see, because I suffered enough. And some people, when they suffer, they use it as some kind of badge to give them self-pity. And self-pity will sink you quicker than those bricks that I was talking about earlier. You don't want to wallow in self-pity. It's okay to recognize that you're pitiful. It's okay to recognize that you have to make some changes in your life. But if you wallow in self-pity, you'll never reach new heights. You got to suffer through something. Your suffering is different than my suffering, but you know when you're suffering, you know when it's there. And when that suffering comes, you got to say, I'm ready to embrace this suffering. I'm ready to take this on. Do you know how many mothers bail their children out when they should let them suffer? Sometimes you have to let your kid fall on the bike so he can learn how to ride the bike. You can't go up to your kid every time he falls on the bike and gets a little scratch on his ankle or scratch on his elbow and baby him. You have to let them suffer a little bit. It's because you love them. And see, they have to learn to be independent and not to be interdependent on you, because you're not always going to be there. You have to raise them up in the way that they're going to be able to stand on their own 2 feet and successfully make it. And that's just minor suffering as a kid. See, when a parent swoops in and saves the day every single time, the child never grows into a man or a woman. They get in their 20s and their 30s, and they still baby boys and baby girls. You're not supposed to be no baby boy and no baby girl when you're going into your 30s and 40s. That's a problem. You can't bail your kids out every time they're underneath the bridge. You got to let them figure it out. And sometimes, you know what's really hard? You watch them suffer and you know the answer. You know the answer that's going to solve their solution. They might even know the answer, but they don't want it. They didn't suffer enough. They're wallowing in their self-pity. They have to figure it out on their own. I had to figure it out on my own in prison. It was hard, man. But I'm not out here. I don't have anything to prove to anybody. And that's the problem on these YouTube streets. That's what they call them. And I'm just going by what it's called, the YouTube streets. And there's a difference between the YouTube streets and the YouTube universities. There's a difference between the YouTube streets and the YouTube edification. On the YouTube streets, people are still trying to prove themselves to each other. What do you have to prove? Prove it to you. I had to prove it to me. I had to look in that mirror. I had to open my Bible, because that's what I did. That's what helped me self-reflect. That's what helped me become the better man. The Christian Bible. I'm a Christian man. And I make no apologies for it. I ain't trying to, you know what I mean, shove my religion down anyone's throat. But if you want to know how I succeeded, it's through that word. It's through the gospel of Christ. Helped me become the man I am today. You got to suffer, man. I had to sit in that jail cell. I remember I had to face one of my biggest fears when I was in the parish jail after I had got my time, right after I had got my sentence. And I knew I was going back to prison. I had to look another man in the eye who I was afraid of. And I know he could do me something at any moment. And I had to confront that fear. And I remember sitting on the phone and I said, I'm not going to call and complain and say how sad I feel for myself. I looked that person in the eye and I was waiting for it any day, any moment. He was going to attack me. And when he did, I wasn't going to be able to do nothing. This guy was that tough. He was that bad. And I had crossed his path previously in a different prison. But he never did attack me. And I wound up getting transferred. And I didn't write a letter to escape. I knew I had to stay in that pod, in that cell, to confront my suffering in order to get to a point to where I know that I was able to confront my suffering, take whatever was going to come, which it didn't come. I sat there for weeks, almost 2.5, 3 weeks. I sat there waiting. That I said, any day this guy wakes up on the wrong side of the bed, he's going to take it out on me. It never came. But I waited. I knew it was coming. I was prepared. I was going to fight back. I was probably going to get an opportunity to throw 2, 3, or 4 punches before he would have knocked me out and broke my jaw. But that's another thing, protection. See, I was protected by something that's supernatural that I'll explain to you later. See, I got in fights in prison. See, when I was on the streets, I got shot at. Bullet zipped by my head. I know the sound of a bullet zipping by. I've been in shootouts. See, I went to prison, not just in the physical realm, but in the realm of my mentality. That's right. I had to go through an emotional prison. I had to go through an emotional pain. I had to go through a mental prison, a mental pain, so that I can be the man that I am today. And the suffering molded me to who I am today, but the suffering isn't over. I'm still suffering. It's still hard. I'm unemployed at the moment. And I'm on YouTube. And I've been doing YouTube for a couple years now. Yeah, we're getting a little traction. But I didn't take no easy route to get to the point to where I'm at today. I would like this channel to take off to where I can sustain me, to where I can make a living doing YouTube and I can bring people on and interview people to help you out. And that's going to happen. I know it will. But I don't want to take an easy route to get to where I am. See, I spent 2 years grinding on YouTube just to get to the point to where I'm at today. And if you're watching this video, you can look down at the statistics on my subscribers and how many views my videos get. It's gaining traction, but I'm doing it step by step. See, it's through suffering. I had to suffer for years, make video after video with 0 to 10 views, not 1 like. And you even get to the point now to where people are going to criticize you. If you don't have any enemies, then you're probably not doing nothing. I say it all the time. You got to have critics. And some of the critics you got to block out. And some of the critique you got to receive. You got to know how to decipher the difference. Yeah, because you could suffer in trying to get to success. Just like this YouTube thing isn't easy that I've been doing. But every time I decide to make a video, I'm going through it. I'm getting better. The month of January, the beginning of this year, 2026, was the hardest month on YouTube that I think I had. I was sick for 3 weeks out of the month, and I did not want to make a single video. And it was through those videos that I made. If you go back and watch them, you see me doing a lot of that coughing. I was trying to hold back from coughing. I'm eating lozenges before the video. I got water inside me, but I don't want to do this in the video. So it's a bunch of cuts, a bunch of takes, because I'm trying to piece it together in between me coughing. But it was through those videos. I was suffering, physically suffering, mentally too, because I'm trying to make, a living for myself, and my criminal record's still holding me down 21 years later. I ain't complaining about it. I look it in the face. I admit to what I did. I don't hide it. And then you get people who criticize you the wrong way because they don't know. They watch 2 minutes because they don't have the patience to watch a 10-minute video. So they watch 2 minutes, base an opinion, and make a comment that's stupid because they don't have enough sense to decipher and discern and get all the information. And then you got to be able to decipher through that. And so what I'm saying is through the month of January, I made those videos when it was the hardest. And the biggest growth that the Pen and The Shank has seen was through the month of January that just passed. We had a lot of growth, a lot of traction. The YouTube algorithm is starting to understand who we are. And I say we because if you're part of this community, that's what it is. It is a we. It's a community I'm building. It's not just me. I want to be able to help. I want people to share in the comments, to help each other, help one another. This isn't a place where anyone's better than anybody. This is a place and a channel where we can share our ideas and share our thoughts, and we can even have differing opinions and respectfully agree to disagree. And you don't know, the person that you disagree with the most might have everything you need to help you get to the next level. But you're so offended by everything that they say that you just cut them off and you never get what you were supposed to receive from them. And you don't want to be a drain either. You don't just want to drain people. All you do is take, and never give. You got something to give. It ain't always got to be monetary, like money. You got time, you got effort, talents, energy. And that's another thing. When you suffering, don't suffer to the point to where you forget that there are others around you who are in need of help too. In your you want to try something that's phenomenal? You want to unlock something in your life? I'm about to give it to you right here. Help somebody when you're suffering. Help somebody when you feel like you need all the help. That will change your life. That's what changed my life. I went out to help people when I needed help. I gave money when I didn't have no money. I gave my talents when I was at the end of my rope. I took losses so I could see somebody else make a gain. I celebrated somebody's achievements when all I was doing was failing. And I didn't tell anybody that neither. That's another thing. You don't want to beat your chest. Remember that I was talking about earlier on these YouTube streets? You don't want to beat your chest about all your pain and suffering and expect sympathy or expect a handout. No. Sometimes you got to take it to yourself and you don't let nobody know what you're going through, still put a smile on your face, even though you don't feel like smiling, because you don't know if that smile is going to help the person next to you. See what I mean? See what you just did? This stuff is hard. I know, and I've already rambled on long enough. But the word I wanted you to grasp today was suffering. Learn to embrace your suffering. And I promise you, if you learn to embrace your suffering the correct way, it will help catapult you to your success. And you'll see what I'm saying. Begin today to embrace your suffering. Don't try to escape it. And watch how the paradigm shift in your life happens. And success. Small successes. Don't look past the small successes. It's one small step of success that equals 1,000,000 steps. 21 years ago, I could have looked back and said, I'm not getting anywhere. But I never could have saw today to where I'm at today. Blessed. Blessed and blessed. Man, give me a like and subscribe to the Pen and the Shank, the most unusual and unique crime and prison channel experience on YouTube. Give me a hype and hit that bell notification and share this video. And one step at a time, through our suffering, we're going to expand this channel. Man, let's get it.